What's up, guys? We're going to do a full time-lapse video of this 2550 repair. It was repaired poorly and we need to splice out all the mess that's in there and repatch it up. In the description are the 9 videos going into full detail of this repair. So let's get into the time-lapse here. Did you know that the 2550 Les Pauls have a maple veneer to make the maple top just slightly thicker? Did not ever realize that. Now you know. All right, so this is the final 2550 full complete build video. We got this done. Amazing amount of work went into this guitar. I have never put as much time and effort into this guitar ever. I did struggle with the fretboard a little bit. I'll point out all of the flaws that I have like I did in the last video, but just talk through them. And this is sort of the final recap. The amount of damage sustained to this guitar was unbelievable. There were chunks missing from the front. They used walnut to try and repair it, and it was ugly. So I got the ebony to match. The coloring of the neck is not exactly perfect. When I went over it with the steel wool, I was hoping it'd be a little bit darker brown. It ended up being a little yellow, so I'm hoping as it ages up slightly, it darkens up. I think that's what'll happen. That's what happens most of the time. The back sustained a ton of damage in the fall. I think these cracks, or not cracks, these scratches were part of that being stepped on. The front has a little bit of damage here and here. But it's really amazing that this is working. I'm impressed. I'm impressed myself, which is, I got frustrated at the end and was a little bit worried that it wouldn't come together right. But as I let everything stabilize and sit for a while, made sure the glue was dry, it came together nicely. We put on new knobs, new switch, original tuners, original truss rod cover. This does have a dual action truss rod in it. So as this neck ages, I was thinking it might move slightly. I know in the 53 Les Paul that I redid, the neck has a slight back bow to it, so that's in the shop for repair, and I'll show you guys that in another video. But let's point out some of the flaws in this that I see. I did do a dirty buff, and what that meant is I did not go over it completely with every grit to get every swirl out. I didn't want it to look like a brand new refinished guitar that loses some of the value. So what I did is I got it really close and then I buffed it, and it looks really nice. I mean, it was dirty and beat up, and I got it really nice and clean. The coloring on the neck does not match the body perfectly. I'm hoping as this darkens up over time that this will match this. I had to use the StewMac Vintage Amber to get it to be slightly yellow. You could tell it doesn't match up perfectly, but we'll see where that goes. The lacquer did bubble slightly right here. I'm still working on this final repair. I'm gonna clean it up before I ship it, but it bubbled up. May need to come back and put a little bit of lacquer on here in a year or two. I'm not really sure. There was a gap when I fit it back onto the body. That's how it came from the shop. I think that's why they did this sort of tobacco burst on the neck. So I've been playing with it. It's a little bit gummy yet. I gotta wipe it up a little bit. And then on the nut, there is, I don't know if you can tell, maybe a slight gap on this side, just ever so slightly, but I glued the nut in. This is a Tusk nut. I didn't have a brass nut, and the nut is taller, so to actually make a brass nut would have been really hard to do. The fretboard is slightly larger than a 2550 fretboard because I needed just a little bit more on this to get it all set back up properly, and needed a little bit of that strength from the ebony to make sure that the guitar doesn't move. The inlays are off just slightly. I would have liked to have this moved over by about a 30-second, maybe a little bit more. I'm not sure if my CNC is exactly perfect, so these two are slightly off, but as you move down the neck, it's fine. So for the trained eye, they may notice it, but for me and the owner, I know all the flaws with this guitar right now. Got all the electronics back to normal, use the switch, use the pots. These are Tarback pickups. I don't know the year, but they sound great. So an amazing restore. Enjoyed the hell out of working on this. Did struggle a little bit. Trying to source the wood was harder than I thought. The black ebony is not available. I got a lot of brown streaked ones. And I didn't think that would look right. And I don't like putting the dye on ebony because then it rubs off over our time on your hands, and I just think that's sloppy. So getting the right wood, getting the right look is key here. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next video.